Human NPCs is a cross-platform mod that adds a new and exciting type of creature to Ark, humans. So let's dive in and see if we can find out what it's all about. Human NPC settlements of various sizes randomly spawn around the map with an assortment of different types of villages, all with random visual appearance. These seem to be mostly around the starter beach type areas, which makes sense since they don't fare all that well against the bigger and more aggressive critters. Although neutral and territorial creatures seem to ignore them, so expect to see things like bears and theris and insects etc. coexisting in and around settlements. The NPCs can be either friendly or territorial, so be prepared to defend yourself or run away. Settlements can also be defended by some villagers riding dinos and supposedly even by Plant X turrets, although I haven't come across any of those yet. There are resources including some rare items to be found occasionally in some of the huts, and villagers can drop both armour and other goodies if conflict results in their demise. And this is a fantastic way to get a bit of a jump start to your gameplay, especially with some harder to get resources a chance to be found. The NPCs are supposed to also sometimes send out raiding parties to player bases with a chance they bring some tames of their own, although unfortunately I never got one to trigger even after a few days worth of playtime and building a stone's throw away from a large settlement, as well as keeping an eagle eye on them just in case. Perhaps I just got unlucky. If you've been on the receiving end of an NPC raid, let me know how it went in the comments down below. Villagers can also be tamed, which actually sounds horrible now that I hear it out loud. Befriended. Yeah, that's much better. If they are aggressive when you approach, you can use emotes to show them you're friendly, and with a bit of luck, they'll settle right down. Pop some food in your last slot, and before you know it, you'll be friends with the whole tribe and have them all around for a barbie and drinks on the back deck. Your new friends can also be put to work around your base to defend and gather, tend to crops, look after your forges, and even cook meat in campfires for you. The different types of NPCs seem to be better at varying tasks, so again, a little bit of experimenting will soon have you getting the most out of your new friends' efforts. It appears you'll still need to do things like light the fires and put seeds in the plots, although they may in fact do that in time, but they hadn't managed to do it in the few hours that I'd left them to their work. The basic types of resources they gather seem to depend on the surrounding resources, but aren't limited to what can normally be gathered, as you can see here. Okay, pros. Having all those settlements of NPC humans really adds a lot of life to the map, especially for single player games. Anyone that isn't able to or doesn't like the idea of playing on servers with other people but still feels a little lonely will really enjoy coming across these settlements and either dropping in to wander about with the friendlies or run away from the territorial ones. Making friends with a few of the NPCs and having them working around your base can definitely make the joint feel more homely and alive. And having a few of them follow you around on your adventures is really a lot of fun. There are a massive amount of settings that can be changed via the ini file to better suit individual preferences, but these are sadly limited to PC or server owners. Alright, cons. After players get to the mid-game progress, the threat that even the biggest settlements pose will be no more than, say, running across a pack of raptors out in the wild. By that point, they can feel more like an inconvenience or annoyance than adding any value to the game. Even their uses around base drop off not long after getting past the early game, as you will likely have better resource gatherers by that point. The pathfinding in ASA makes them get stuck with any stations placed indoors. Keep those things outside and clear of obstructions for the best results. There are some spawning bugs in ASA that see creatures sometimes getting stuck together, and the NPCs are no exception. There's no real user manual except for some info relating to the old ASE version on Steam and Discord that helps piece a few things together along with some trial and error. Also, there are no settings available for console players to tweak the options to their playing styles, short of a few console commands which can potentially lead to a bit of boredom and frustration. Console players might have a bit of trouble with the emotes since key binding isn't really a thing for most and need to rely on the using of the radial menus. The mod itself also looks to have had no updates for several months at the time of this review, so any bug reports haven't been addressed for a while. The mod itself is well done, with a heap of options available for servers and PC. Console users, however, are stuck with mostly default settings which are still functional and balanced enough. Early game, the NPCs were a lot of fun, but the novelty wears off not long after that. I'd love to see some updates where they are not only more of a challenge as players progress, but also retain their usefulness around base for mid and endgame stuff. If you like the sound of the main features, then I would definitely recommend giving the mod a go, but with the full awareness that things may or may not work properly given the lack of updates for quite a while. I'm going to give Human NPCs 3 stars, and make sure you check out these other reviews of some mods that can perhaps add even more fun and value to your game.